Hello and welcome to our first Thursday night study tip Facebook Live. We're going to be doing an awful lot of these, and obviously they're going to be on Thursday night. Now they're not recording EastEnders and Coronation Street. What else you got to do on a Thursday night? Whilst we get a few more people to join us, I'd just like to point out, although I do work from home, I don't always dress like this is my uniform, Team FI. So what is the plan for this evening? Well, the plan for this evening has changed an hour ago. So all the best laid plans go to waste. I got an email from AAT. AAT are stopping all exams from midnight on Sunday the 22nd, which is like 3 days' time. So from then, no one will be able to sit an exam until whenever. What a world we live in. So what we're going to do tonight is talk about how do you study when you're unable to sit an exam. Also, there's lots of people working from home nowadays. There's children everywhere. So we're going to talk about how you study with children under your feet. Please, if you're watching this, please give us a like or even share, and I'd love you. I will choose someone at random, and they will get one of these First Intuition mugs. You cannot buy these. Give us a like or a share and you will possibly get a mug. Maybe. Lovely. Just while I've got you, I'll just drop in there in conversation. See that behind me? PQ Magazine Online College of the Year. First Intuition Distance Learning. PQ's Magazine Online College of the Year. So to celebrate, and I've done lots of that so far, we are going to, well, I'm saying going to, as of 2 minutes ago, we are knocking 25% off everything, like anything that's online, anything online live, whole levels, bookkeeping qualifications, single units, 25% off them with our code FBPQ. See what we did there. So anyway, I won't make this a shameless marketing ploy, although it probably is. We're going to move on to some actually useful content now. So we're going to talk about studying when you've got no exams. So you've got a choice. Just don't study. Just don't study. That's an option. It's not one I'm going to recommend, if I'm being honest. What we're going to do is we're going to assume you do want to study and you don't know when you're going to sit the exams. So what's going to happen is you're going to be studying, and then there's going to be a point where sold. There's going to be a point where you've finished studying a unit and you're like, what do I do? Touch wood, everything gets sorted and you can sit an exam. However, let's be honest, the world's a little bit different to what we've ever experienced before. So, and if I've been honest, the odds are you probably might not be able to sit an exam for the near future. So what do you do? So you can go on to the next unit, and it's not the end of the world to study one unit and then go on to the next one. Now, students for the last, since AQ 2010, so going back 10 years, I've always had this mindset of study one unit, sit the exam, pass it, and then, that's ticked off, move on to the next unit. And that's great. That is great in a perfect world. And as you can see here, we don't live in a perfect world. Now, that mindset, I think at the moment, is going to have to change. And you're going to have to think that you're going to end up studying multiple units. And you think, oh my God, that's horrendous. How can you possibly do that? It's not impossible. Back in the day, when I was a student, grey hairs are showing, it used to be there was 2 exam sittings a year. There was June and then there was December. And that's what it was. And you also wait about 8 weeks for results. So you found out in January, you're on to the next level where you've passed or not. And you would always sit more than one exam in that 1 week exam period. So for example, I did PEV, which is going backwards, performance evaluation. That might be the really, really old name for decision control. PCR, planning costs and revenues. That might be the old name for budgeting, and tax, all in 1 week. So three units all in 1 week. I mean, Gareth mentioned today, really showing Gareth's age, when he did his chart exams, he said 11 exams in 4 days or something. Maybe slightly exaggerated, but in those days of chartered exams, you used to sit an awful lot of exams all in 1 week. I mean, not so long ago when I was doing ICAW, they only had 6 monthly exam windows. So unless you want to drag it out, you had to sit 2 exams at once. It's not impossible. It definitely can be done. So you've just got to get out of the mindset of, I can only sit one exam once, so I only study one exam once. Now, there's some units that are really good that should be studied together. For example, bookkeeping transactions and bookkeeping controls, advanced bookkeeping and final accounts preparation. Many years ago, they were actually part of the same exam. So when I did, I don't want to harp back, back in the day, but back in the day when I did advanced bookkeeping FAPR, they were 2 halves of one exam paper, and you had to pass both halves. So if you passed the first half and then you were, terrible at profit appropriation accounts in final accounts preparation, you failed the exam, and then you couldn't have another go for 6 months. Obviously, it's a lot nicer now, but those 2 fit very well together. So it's not the end of the world if you were to study bookkeeping transactions and bookkeeping controls, then sit them both together, or advanced bookkeeping and FAPR and sit them both together. Or even at level 4, budgeting and management account decision control. There's loads in there that's very similar, like standard direct variances in there. It's exactly the same. So they fit very well together. Obviously, together they're 2 big exams, but there's no reason why you couldn't study them together. Other ones, personal tax and business tax. I mean, in our notes, as you can see behind us, very good on the shelf, by the way, if you were looking to buy some books. Business tax is 19 chapters, personal tax is 11 chapters. So we normally say do personal tax first, and it makes business tax not quite so daunting. But there's loads of stuff that's in personal tax, chattels, share pools, they're exactly the same as they are in business tax. There's no reason why they couldn't be sat together. Another thing to bear in mind is synoptic. I know we all love synoptic. We all love synoptic, if we're being honest or not. With synoptic at level 4, you've got to go back and cover the 3 mandatory units. So if you, for example, studying financial statements and you couldn't get an exam for that, go into professional synoptic and hope at some point there's going to be a new window for that. Because when you're in professional synoptic, you've got to go back to financial statements and budgeting and decision control anyway. So it's not a waste of your time. Likewise with advanced synoptic at level 3. You've got to go back and pretty much know everything from advanced bookkeeping, final accounts preparation, and costing. So, don't think that because you've got not sat your costing exam and you've moved on to spreadsheets, you've forgotten all your costing stuff, because you're not. You've got to go back to it anyway. So it's not a problem at all. No, I don't think I look a day over 21 either, if I'm being honest. So in answer, I think I've answered it, Caroline, but yeah, final accounts preparation alongside advanced bookkeeping fit very well together. And an aside, actually, if you were to then have, come to a 3rd unit, you still can't sit an exam, indirect tax also fits on there as well. And then actually you're primed to get the bookkeeping membership and get AAT Q+A after then. As an aside, I've got a very good blog on that. So yeah, there's lots and lots of units that fit very well together. I mean, likewise, even foundation synoptic, you've got to go back to bookkeeping transaction controls and ELCO. So it's not the end of the world if you've not sat your exam for ELCO, because no matter what, you're going to have to look at it again. Now, my friend Phil, my brother from another mother, he wrote an excellent blog, which is just today. It's goes into a bit further of how to study when exam centres are closed, which I've just put in the comments, and I will pin it. So if you want sort of further details, because I want to leave plenty of time to do a Q&A this session at the end. You can ask me anything. I love Q&As. So you want to look a bit further, there's Phil Toomer's excellent blog. So that's it, really. People going to ask me, and they will ask me, when the exam's going to come back. No idea. AAT don't know. No one knows. It is an extraordinary situation we find ourselves in at the moment. We just got to play it by ear. So it's a case of carry on, study, or just give up. And which I wouldn't suggest doing that, especially if you sat at home with a lot of time on your hands, and there's no Coronation Street or EastEnders to do. So get studying. So that's my very short tips about how to study when there isn't an exam available. Touch wood, all things being well, they will come available soon. But that is about as much information as I have as to when that would possibly happen. Moving on, studying with kids. We've all done that. We've all had to study with kids. A little bit of history. I went to university to become a farmer. Didn't work out. Had to retrain. Did AAT. And so when I went, and then after AAT, I went into charter. When I went into charter, I was a couple of years older, shall we say, than most people on there, like graduates and stuff. And we had our firstborn child in the middle of advanced tax, I think it was. That's great fun. And it did actually kind of put it into context as to why I was studying. Before studying, it was something you did because you might get a pay rise at the next level, or it's the sensible thing to do. But then when you do have children, you actually think, this is why I'm doing it. I've got children that actually rely on me. I'm a responsible person now. There is someone relying on me to have a good career, to earn some money, to put food in their mouths. And it does, give you a lot of responsibility, a lot of perspective. So, the first thing to bear in mind when you're kids is that's why you're doing it. As annoying as they are when you're trying to study and screaming and shouting for biscuits and crisps and someone's hit someone and someone's got their TV remote and things like that, speaking from experience, that is why you're doing it. So bear that in mind. It gives you another, mindset of why you are studying. You've got to admit, it's hard. And it's one of the things, I see students sometimes say, oh, it's not fair. I mean, how can I study? I've got kids and a job and everything. I was like, well, what do you want to do about that? That's the way the world is. It's the life you've got. So you can either moan about it or you can deal with it. And if it takes you longer, it takes you longer. Everyone gets the same certificate, like that one there. And on there, it doesn't say how long it took me to get it. All it means is I got there at the end. So if you do take a bit longer because you've got children, if you do have to fit your studying around dropping them off, picking up from school, things like that, just accept it. It's just life. Life is hard. Life is hard. The other thing I would suggest when you do have children, short and often study sessions. It is, unless, I don't care how good your kids are, you're not going to get a marathon 6-hour study session on a Sunday afternoon with children. It's just not on. And fair, you could probably argue it's not really fair to them to sit and watching online lectures and reading books and things like that. So short and often study sessions, just keep your hand in, just do as best you can. The other thing to bear in mind is your age of your kids. If you've got teenagers, the odds are they're not going to be jumping out of bed at 7 o'clock in the morning, are they? So if you've got teenagers, get up in the morning, study, it's done, and get your study done, and then you have to deal with moaning teenagers. If you've got young children, they are generally in bed earlier. Not mine all the time, but generally in bed than teenagers. So get them in bed, do an hour, 45 minutes, even if you do half an hour 3 nights a week and a bit on Saturday, that's enough to get you through. Just keep things ticking over. And you've got to deal with the life that you've been given. And that's it. Like I say, it is an extraordinary time at the moment. People are working from home with kids. That guy who did the BBC interview with the kid that ran in the background, I am tired of seeing that video just today. These things happen with children. You've just got to deal with it. Especially if you're distance learning student, you've got that flexibility of studying. You can take longer. You're probably not going to sit an exam in the next month anyway, to be honest. So if it takes you longer, just manage it. Now, I'm going to open this up to questions, which if you write there and comment, there is a little bit of a delay before you write questions and I can see it. So if you start writing your questions now, I've got to fill. So I will probably mention about our discount again. Did I mention we've got 25% off all our online and online live AAT courses, not just whole levels, but bookkeeping qualifications and even individual units. So say you were at a college, and I would imagine most colleges are shut as of tomorrow, and you wanted to get finished, you want to do some studying, just buy a single unit and keep things ticking over. So if you've got any questions or queries, do not hesitate to get in touch. Comment below. That's why I'm here, really. But these are extraordinary times. I did a Facebook Live on Monday night. I do a lot of these, and a lot of questions about AQ 2021. And I can see this coming up quite a lot because obviously AQ 2016 has a finite life. And now you've got less time to complete it in terms of sitting exams. Do not panic about AQ 2021 coming in. AQ 2021 is coming in, obviously, in 2021, but it's coming in on the 1st of September 2021. AQ 2016 is not ending until September 2022. So if you think about it, because you have numbers flying around your brain, we're in March 2020. It's not ending until September 2022. That's 2.5 years. You've got 2.5 years to complete your, and it only has to be your level, not the entire AAT, before it expires. Like I say, any questions or queries on anything AAT related, keep it clean. Just ask in the comments. But in terms of AQ 2016 expiring, nothing is set in stone with that. There's lots that's going to change. Normally there is transitional arrangements with one qualification going to another, but again, we don't know what they are as yet. But it's ages away, so stop panicking. Right, first question, what will happen with the FI live lessons? They're going to go ahead. We are not cancelling them. We're going to go ahead. So, Danny, I know you're level 4. So, we're going to do statements. And then we're going to go on to fresh synoptic, which is aiming for the next synoptic window. No idea if the exam's going to be ready by that synoptic window, but that's what we're aiming for. It's not the end of the world if you can't sit statements, because like I say, you're going to have to go back to statements, or at least parts of it. And you're going to have to go back to decision control, and you're going to have to go back to budgeting anyway. So don't worry about it. We're just going ahead. But the thing is, no one knows what's going on. So until we know something definitive, we're just going to carry on as we are. Yeah, that is a lot of mugs, Han. And if you like this video, you can maybe, possibly, there's a chance you might get one. Just dropping that in there. Like it, and you can get your mugs. How did I stay so positive and motivated while studying AAT yourself, particularly starting level 3? I liked it for start. I mean, that's obviously not, that's quite a flippant answer. Like, it's a doddle. I loved it. I'm sad. I really liked it, to be honest. I find it quite interesting. I started at level 3. I didn't actually do level 2. Not this. This is all about my life. But I came straight at level 3 because I have double entry knowledge. I really liked it. I mean, there were times when I did AAT, it was like a NVQ or something that I did. It was ages ago. And so you did all the exciting stuff, AVB, relatively exciting, let's be honest, AVBK, costing. We didn't have spreadsheets and indirect tax when I did. There were things like health and safety units, which I'm not going to lie to you, was mind-numbing, really mind-numbing. And like you had to do this health and safety thing, so everyone pointed out, there's bins in the fire escape, and that's what everyone put. It was mind-numbing, it really was. But it's just part of the qualification. And you know, as you go on and you tick exams off, you can see there's progression there, and you can see that you're getting on in your career, in life, and you know there is light at the end of the tunnel. AAT, it is a challenging qualification, which is why employers like it. You know, people are doing AAT not because they're particularly interested in fixed overhead variances. No one is interested in fixed overhead variances. People doing AAT because they want to better their life. And there's so many good stories out there of people who can literally say, hand on heart, my life is better because of AAT. So that's why they do it. It is a really good qualification. Just something. Do we still get support? Like, yeah. From first intuition point of view, it's business as usual. You will still get support on the phone. You still get everything. We just don't know when you can sit the exam. That's the only thing that's changed. Nothing else has changed. All the live courses are running. The support's there. The material's not going anywhere. We're just up in air as regards when you might be able to sit the exam. You know, I don't know. Boris Johnson is not coming looking for me for when things are going to go back to normal. We don't know. We just got to play it by ear. But this is nothing I've ever, come across in my professional life ever. Next question. Yep. AAT water bottle. Yeah, I'm with it, by the way. Right, so that's a yes, Fiona. Next exam is postponed. Have level 4 finished, ready to start ACCA in September uni. So we won't be able to complete in time to start uni. Do you want advice? It depends what units you've got left, Fiona. One thing that actually I think is a really good point is, say you had professional, say you start the 3 mandatory and you've got 3 left, which I'm guessing are probably synoptic, optional. Now, auditing generally is not the one I suggest most people do, because not many people work in audit, but audit does help with some of the looking for errors in accounting systems in professional synoptic. So if you study professional synoptic and you couldn't get your exam, I would suggest you move on and do auditing, because that's going to help you again when you come back to do your professional synoptic exam. So I'd study that and then see where you're at in terms of exams, and then you got to do another. Now, it depends on the entry requirements for your university, but to complete AAT, you'll get an exemption from the first 3 exams from ACCA. However, you don't need those exemptions from the first 3 exams of ACCA on day 1. So you could potentially start ACCA, then get your AAT exams finished off, then get your exemptions, and then carry on with ACCA. It just depends on the requirement of your university, because it might be you've got to complete AAT or we'll not let you on. It might be that they have a bit of common sense and say, look, these are crazy times we are living in, and sort of give you a bit of leeway. See, but I would definitely contact your university that you're doing ACCA at. But having AAT passed is not a prerequisite to go into ACCA, and you can always get those 3 exams finished off at a later date. Si Smith, can I have a mug? If you like it, you can possibly have a mug, possibly. What I suggest after doing AAT, a rest is good, but only for a day or so. After that, there's an all manner of things you can do with AAT. The first thing I do is suggest get a professional membership. You work really hard for it. You pass all your level 4 exams. Get MAAT after your name. I think that's the first thing you should do. You don't want to work in practice, but want to move out the basic accounts department role. Do you know what I also suggest? If you're not 100% sure, I think ACCA is a really good qualification for hedging your bets. What do you mean? If you go off and you do CIMA, you'll be a management accountant. And there's nothing wrong with being a management accountant. You can have a fantastic career after doing CIMA, but you will be a management accountant. If you go and do ATT, I did that for a bit of fun. Turns out it wasn't that much fun when there's law and ethics modules, but the tax bits were fun. I did ATT. Obviously, it's great if you want to work in tax. But again, you will only work in tax. With ACCA, I think it's really good. It gives you a really good grounding at a higher level of management accounting, tax, auditing, law. It's really, really good. And then when you get to the top level papers, then you can choose and specialize. So you can do like mentally hard tax, or you can do mentally hard management accounting. And by that point there, you can, you're choosing where you want your career to go, because A, you're delaying that decision, and B, you've got a lot more experience in terms of what you like. Whereas if you choose the qualification after AAT and you're not 100% sure what you're doing, you are making that decision. So I'm a big fan of delaying that decision and do it as late as possible when you've got more experience, more knowledge. So yeah, I mean, ACCA, if you're not sure, is a good one. And don't forget, it isn't impossible to go from one professional qualification to another professional qualification. It is, sometimes they are transferable. It's not as neat as it could be. And that's what I'd suggest. ACCA just keeps your options open for a lot longer. Caroline, I did shamelessly plug my 25% off. You bought the book Self-Study and I've already sat passing your tax, funded upgrade to FI Law. That's amazingly good question, Caroline. I'm very glad you asked that, if I'm being honest. Yeah, if you've already got Self-Study, you can get 25% off our online courses, and we will deduct what you have already paid for your self-study material, and you would literally have just paid the difference. It wouldn't cost you any more. That's not the sort of thing you'd buy on a website, though. it's a bit, it's a bit obscure. You contact us as aat@fi.co.uk. We can definitely sort that out for you, and we can put it up at interest-free installments. Can't say fairer than that. Fiona, Synoptic, credit management, cash, and treasury left. They don't sit all that well with Synoptic. Really. What I would do there, I'd do Synoptic first, because there's a very small chance this all gets sorted very soon, and then you've sat it in the right order. Then, if I had to choose, I'd go into cash and treasury management maybe, and then credit management. There is no sort of natural flow from them. You've just got to choose one, and then at some point hope for an exam, unfortunately. So. Yes, Paulette, I'm glad you like a mug. And Rebecca, you know what to do if you want another mug. Give us a like. Cool. Right, just while I show off my AAT waterwall again, has anyone got any more questions or queries? Like I say, we're going to do a lot more of these. It's going to be my Thursday night top tips. I do need another name, I do admit, but for a first attempt, I don't think that's bad. Thursday night top tips, going to be Thursday night, 7 o'clock. This time next week. How much different is AAT to ACCA? Well, if I go all teacher on you, AAT level 2 is allegedly as difficult as a GCSE. Level 3 is allegedly as difficult as an A level. Level 4 is allegedly as difficult as the first year of a degree. And then ACCA is a level 7 qualification, which goes up to master's level. So not just a degree, it's master's level. It is, obviously, ACCA is a step up. It is a real big step up. But I think if you've done AAT level 4 first, you are setting yourself up to get through ACCA so much, so easy, a lot easier than what if you've gone straight in. Because you do AAT level 4, you'll get exemptions from the first 3 exams. You won't get exemption from tax. You won't get exemption from the financial reporting paper. You won't get exemption from the management account paper. However, now ACCA is a slightly different mindset. You need 50% to pass the exam. So if you think tax, you're going to have to sit that exam, even if you've done both tax units at AAT. However, that ACCA exam is aimed at people, who have not sat AAT. So there's marks in there for tax comps, there's marks in there for share pools, there's marks in there for capital allowances, and obviously there's marks in there for things that you've not studied for under AAT, but there's loads of marks available for things that you have studied under AAT. So if you think about it, you've studied indirect tax at level 3, then you studied personal tax in an exam, then you studied business tax in an exam, and you've sort of learnt them incrementally. ACCA brings it all together, which I really like, because you're looking at everything together. Like, if my background's like, small firm of chartered accountants, and you've got small owner managed businesses, and they're looking at their overall tax bill. So AAT will look at, this is a sole trader, or this is an individual, they get a dividend. And then you've got a limited company, they pay corporation tax. Whereas in the real world, a person will own a limited company, their limited company will pay tax, and then from that company, after it's paid tax, they'll be drawing down their dividends. What's the most tax efficient way for that person? Because that person owns that business. They just want as much money and pay as little tax as legally possible. So it looks at the whole picture. So it brings it all together. So whilst you haven't got an exemption for financial reporting or tax, you've got a massive head start. And then once you get into the pressure papers, it's just really, really hard. Not going to lie, but ACCA is and that sort of level 7 qualification. That is where you really, really get into the top level jobs, good money. ICAW send me an email every December saying, do you know what? The average chartered accountant earns £92,000. And that is literally the month before they say, also, we want £400 in subs. I don't earn £92,000. There's a lot of outliers that skew the average, but that possibility is there. If you become partner in a big 4 firm, you're pulling in several £100,000 a year, which, I'd get out of bed for. I get out of bed for a lot less than that. That's where, there's nothing wrong with stopping after AAT level 4. Lots of people have gone on and have a fantastic career, perhaps set their own business up, things like that. But if you did want to go further, that's what I did. I was younger in those days, can you believe? And I just thought, I've got a lot of time left in my career. I've got time to study, take it further. So, I would definitely consider it, definitely going on to ACCA. And there's a lot of people who are there think, oh, no, I'm going to finish AAT level 3, go straight into ACCA. So A, they don't get the exemptions. B, they're going into tax, having never seen tax before in their life. And do you know what? It's really, really hard. And then people sometimes have this mindset of, well, if I buy the books and pay for the exam, why wouldn't I be ACCA qualified? ACCA is really quite hard. So although it might take you longer, it might even cost you more to do AAT level 4 after doing level 3 and before going to ACCA. It vastly increases your chances of getting through ACCA. And then at the end of it, you'll get the rewards. Rosalind, will the end date for 2016 be extended? Probably not, is my guess. However, this is a very fluid situation. If you think back where we were 2 weeks ago and look where we are now, it just depends how everything goes. I've got to stress, it is 2.5 years away that AQ 2016 ends. 2.5 years. It's a long time. So, if exams come back in summer or even September, say they come back in September, that gives you 2 years to go, and you don't have to complete AAT in that time. You've got to complete the level you're on. So if you're on level 3, don't think you've got to do level 3 and level 4 by September 2022. You've just got to complete level 3 by September 22. Even exams are back in September. You've got 2 years to sit your exams. Nika Louise, love the mug. Like I say, anyone who's new, give us a like, and you could possibly, tell you what, I'll give away 2. I've just doubled your chances of getting a mug. 2 people will get a mug of this from this tonight. Cool. Anyone else with any questions about anything relatively related to AAT? Relatively. Thank you much. Like I say, our discount, 25% is off online live, whole levels, bookkeeping qualifications, single units, upgrades. Yeah, contact us aat@fi.co.uk. The discount code is FBPQ. How many exams are there in ACCA? By the time I would have finished level 4, so including them. So you've got at the low level, you've got 9 exams. You get exemptions from the first 3, and then you're going to go and study the other 6. So you've got law, management accounting, tax, financial reporting, and then you get what is known as PQ status. Financial management is the last one. You get PQ status, which in itself it's not a qualification. You won't get letters after your name, but it is kind of like a recognized point in your studies. So you could go to an employer and say, I'm PQ qualified, and they would know what you mean. Now, PQ is, just like an award, it's not a coincidence. Part qualified, that means. And then after that, you go on to you've got strategic business leader, strategic business reporting, it's like the case study kind of things. And then you've got the optional units. So you've got another 4 to do at the top level. So you have another 10 exams. You won't be doing them in 18 months, for being honest. It is a big commitment. But the rewards are worth it. Caroline, can you sit my advanced bookkeeping exam for me? I would love to sit your advanced bookkeeping exam for you, Caroline, but fortunately, I can't. No one can sit any exams, such as life. Cool. Yeah, Neil, 2 units left at level 4, so it should be fine. I would hope so. Now, we'll support you for as long as you need. If you take more than 2.5 years, we'll still support you for no extra cost. That's part of our pass guarantee. How good is that? However, I would like to think, 2 units, 2.5 years, probably should be doing that on average. But as long as you get there, at the end of the day, no one cares. like I say. But yeah, typically a level 4 student on average, somewhere 12 to 18 months as a guide. So even if you start level 4 today, you sign up today with our 25% off discount, it would typically take you 18 months to get through level 4, and you've got a year spare anyway, so there's plenty of time. CIMA after level 4. CIMA is also a level 7 qualification. It is literally on the National Occupational Standards for Accountancy at the same level of ACCA and ICAW. It's still a level 7 qualification. It's just content-wise, it's all about management accounting, really. Very little tax in there, unfortunately. But yeah, in terms of how long it would take, you're talking years. It's not like ATT where you could sit your two tax papers, one every 6 months. You get an exemption if you've done business tax at AAT, and then some e-learning in law and ethics, and you've done it in 12 to 18 months. You won't be doing CIMA in 12 to 18 months. It's a big commitment. You're talking 3 years is good going. It's hard, but nothing good came easy. Just unlimited time to complete AAT and unlimited fails. Right. In terms of that, we as a training provider provide unlimited time to complete AAT. Obviously, if the standards change and you need to move on to new standards, you might possibly need new books, but we'll support you. In terms of unlimited time, AAT will let you pay your student subscription for 20 years if you want. They're quite happy to take your 94 quid off you every year. Don't worry about that. Unlimited fails, unless you're 18, AAT will let you fail your exam several times. I would like to think that we're probably planning not to fail multiple times. It is hard, people do fail. Just dropping there, we've got a 91% pass rate today at level 4. The average pass rate nationally is about 71%. We've got 91%. That's AAT distance learning students. Well pleased with that. Glad I remembered to drop that in conversation. You do get unlimited fails, but plan ahead, prepare, do your mocks. We very rarely see a student who does the assignments, does the mocks, who doesn't get the result that they want. If you do the work, you should be passing these exams. Obviously, sometimes you have an off day and something doesn't go quite right, so you don't get them all. But yeah, at the moment in time, don't worry about time pressure. I sat using accounting software. Results took off. No, I mean, no one said anything to me, but I will put my mortgage on this. Results are not going to take longer than 6 weeks to come in because the markers are sat at home, like literally sat at home. They're not even allowed to leave the house now, some of them. So you're probably getting back earlier, to be honest. That's not changed in terms of results, so don't worry about that. If you're self-isolating for a week, you may as well mark your exam papers and earn some money. So I would think we come back earlier. I like that. Thinking it through on Thursdays. I am stealing that. That's such a good idea, Fiona. Thinking it through on Thursdays. Move on. How long does ATT take? I think I just covered that. About 12 months, 18 months. If you do AAT and you study business tax as one of your optional units, you'll get exemptions from one of the 3 tax papers. That leaves you with paper 1 and one of the optional units. Everyone does corporate tax as the optional unit because why would you do inheritance tax and trusts and VAT? I think like 70 people nationally sit that exam. And then you've got 2 e-learning units to do. One is ethics, one is law. Not going to lie to you, they're not much fun. Don't dismiss them. They are quite tricky. They actually have a lower pass rate than the actual written papers at ATT. However, I should say there is a massive, massive jump between AAT, so a little pro forma, fill in the box. Is this tax avoidance or evasion? True, false kind of thing. To here's 40 blank pieces of paper. You've got 3 hours. Get on with it. The other thing you'd get in ATT are these Tolley's tax guides, which I've got one here actually. I'll get it down. Oh, also look at my FI hoodie. How cool is that? See that? Tolley's tax guide. That's how long ago I was studying it. Anyway, that is one of five. One of five I've got up there. That's your reference material for ATT. Don't want to put you off, but yeah, you get to take that in an exam. The people who do CTA, which is Chartered Tax Advisor that you do after ATT, they take a suitcase into their exam full of books. No word of a lie. Yeah. So it is a step up, is ATT. I really like it as a qualification. I think it's really good. Fits very nicely with AAT if you are working in a small practice. But like I say, if you go down that route, tax is all you'll ever do, which is not a problem. But you've got to update your skills and everything. Have some tax books that are more than 6 years out of date. Don't do that. So yeah, I like it. But ACCA, I think, if you're not sure where you want your career to go, is a very good one to do with hedge your bets, and you also can get that PQ status. 91% pass rate in all AAT level 4 exams. Yes, it was, Paulette. It was 91% out of every student who sat an AAT level 4 exam 6 weeks ago, which included a lot of decision control, which, to be honest, decision control is a bit of a pain of an exam. And yeah, there was a lot of that because people had just studied it over Christmas. I do think that catch line is very good. I'll have a think about whether it's mug worthy or not, but yeah, it is very, very good. Anyone else got any questions? Like I say, if you haven't given me a good catch line, you can get a mug potentially with a like, a share. Hearts go a long way in Facebook's algorithm, by the way. Just saying. So yeah, right. Unless anyone has any last minute questions, any burning issues I can help with, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure, and I'd like to do it again. Heart like that. That puts you up the rankings of more likely to get a mug. Like I say, 25% off FBPQ, another heart. Any questions, queries, get in touch. I can talk about AAT all day, every day if you want to give me a ring. Like I say, my name's, I didn't think of you, so. Just, get in touch. Easy ways, aat@fi.co.uk. Like I say, and I would love to do this again. Hopefully, this time next week, I might have an update as about exams, but I'm willing to bet not. I cannot see that happening. It just says for the foreseeable future. I don't know. I mean, as a guy, bit of inside information. My wife's a teacher. She's planning to not be at work until July. Just dropping that in there. I don't know. AAT might be able to do different things. I mean, AAT are looking at maybe, because the AAT have got the issue that lots of people have gone from AAT into like ICAW, which generally would have a September start. So it'd be really, really good if people could get their AAT exams at level 4 done, or at least sat before September. It might be June. It'd be great if it's June. There's a professional synoptic window in June. Don't know is the answer to that. A heart and a share, Richard. That is amazing. Cool. I'm glad that came down. It's all a bit crazy at the moment. We don't know what's going on. And in the big picture of things, just bear in mind, AAT studies are not the be-all and end-all in life. There is more to life than studying. Just got to do the best you can. Really, at the moment, it's a crazy time to be alive. Cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all for joining. I do. I enjoyed it. And I will see you all again.